Hello, this is Honors Chemistry Chapter 1, Test Hints. Here we go. All right, so the way we do these test hint sessions is I sit here with a test in front of me, and the test hints in front of me, and the test in front of me. And I'll talk you through, we'll go through each of the test hints. I'll talk you through kind of what to look for in terms of the various questions. Some of them are going to be ridiculously obvious, and the hint is going to be the same as the test question. And some of them are not. So the hints are designed to give you the topic of every test question, not necessarily word for word, but sometimes it actually is word for word. And what I would highly recommend to anybody taking any chemistry test is, even though like this beginning material looks pretty easy, pretty straightforward, read all of the answer choices. Read all of the answer choices. A lot of times people see answer choice A or B and they know that that's true and like, oh, okay, that's what this question is about, but maybe answer choice C or D is a better answer. Okay? So we want the best answer, even if several of them sound like they're about right. All right, so the first hint says the safety equipment located in this classroom, and this is going to be specifically fire safety equipment. So what fire safety equipment do we have? Just a minute. Since I don't have somebody to turn on and off for me. Yes, exactly.
Fire blanket.
We have a fire blanket. What else? Fire extinguishers. What else? Specifically fire. Not general chemical hazards. Specifically fire. Is there something else that is only fire related?
Smoke detectors?
We don't have those, actually. There are,
I was joking.
I know. No.
Okay.
That's, my nose is the smoke detector. Something that doesn't look like it's safety equipment, kind of an innocent household device over there. The sand can. Yeah, the sand can to throw away burned matches, the fire extinguisher, and the fire blanket. Okay. Alrighty. Test hint number 2 says the proper way to handle solids in lab, and the actual test question says the proper way to handle solids in lab is to ... Okay? So when you're transferring solids, how do you physically do that? With a scoopula into what? Into a massing boat. So scoopula into a massing boat, and then what happens? You fold the massing boat and use that to pour into something else. And if we didn't have massing boats, we'd be using massing paper, or even just a scrap piece of paper, but we're never touching the chemicals with our hands. We are not picking it up with our fingers, even though you think it's something that's not all that harmful. Alrighty. Number 3, how to use the dialogram balance to measure something. Okay. This can't be that in-depth of a question, but when you get the dialogram balance, what do you have to do before you start measuring anything? Zero it how?
Put all the things to 0 and then play with them.
Okay, put the little things to 0. So we're going to move the riders back to the left, and we turn the dial all the way to 0, and then what?
The 0.
Yeah, the 0 now, the thumb screw at the end, we're adjusting that to get the pointer to line up right. And what do we have on the balance pan when all that is going on?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. It's the most often missed question on a regular chem test. Nothing. Sorry, I'm pausing to give the camera extra hints. What? Nothing on the pan. Okay, you just...
What did you call that thing on the side of the
Thumb screw. Yep.
So the test's going to be like extended response?
There are some, if you look at the last 4 or 5 test hints, it says short answer.
Right.
Usually we have a multiple choice test and then an honors page test, which is all the extended response. But there isn't an honors page for chapter 1. So I put a handful of short answer questions on here. Okay? Number 4. how to properly light and adjust a Bunsen burner. Okay? So how are we going to set the air ports? Halfway open. And we're going to turn the gas nozzle till it's about 45 to 60 degrees, I suppose. And what happens, what do we do if it starts to burn in the barrel? Turn the gas off, because that's producing carbon monoxide. We want to make sure that it's not continuing to burn that way, plus if it gets the barrel really hot, and that's a problem. Okay? Number 5, where to find information on health hazards, properties, and safety for a chemical. We did a little activity on how to read one of these. An MSDS sheet, Material Safety Data Sheet, but it'll be abbreviated MSDS. And we have those for every chemical that we have in the department. Okay. Number 6, some examples of real-life objects that are studied in chemistry as opposed to those studied in other sciences. And one of my pre-test questions, that just practice thing we did, that was very similar to this. So, would a chemist study the satellite falling back into Earth's orbit and breaking up over the ocean? No. Would a chemist study the process that happens while the leaves change color here in the beautiful fall? Yes. Would a chemist study layers of sedimentary rock in the creek beds around Geauga County? No. Right. Would a chemist study the reaction of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen to make sugar? Yes. All right. It should be pretty obvious from this. Number 7, the definition of chemistry. So whenever you hear, or whenever you see in the test hints define something or whatever, usually I don't spend time going over those in test hints because you can look up a definition. So the definition questions will either start by giving you the beginning of the definition and you pick the phrase that finishes it, or they'll say the word is. So if it's defined chemistry, it might say chemistry is, and you'll have to pick the correct definition, or it's going to say the study of the structure and properties of matter and blank, and you'll fill in the rest. So that would be, and the changes that they undergo, or that it undergoes. Okay, and it will be, the multiple choice tests are from the book publisher, so it'll be the same kind of language that you'll see in the book and the notes. Please remember you all have access to the online textbook. You have password and login. There's a generic password and login on Moodle. I think there's some little section quizzes and things in there, interactive, that you can do on the textbook website. That might be a good check for you. Let's see. Number 9, what specifically is studied in each branch of chemistry? And number 10 says similar to number 10, that's supposed to be number 9. So questions 9 and 10 are about various branches of chemistry. We've got our organic, inorganic, physical, analytical, biochem, nuclear, and there'll be a question about 2 of those. So if I asked you the branch of chemistry that studies carbon compounds, that would be what? Organic. And the branch of chemistry that studies the individual steps in a reaction process. Now that's physical. That's physical. Analytical chemistry is, we're doing a lot of analytical chemistry along with the inorganic. That's identifying substances that are there, their properties, what is it, does it react, does it not. Okay. Number 11, how to identify an example of technology versus science. And the question says, an example of technology is